Another issue that we see that comes up from time to time is consumers will ask us what rights do they have when their credit card company will not reverse fraudulent charges. I will say at the outset that the vast majority of times I see credit card companies, the banks, being pretty liberal on reversing credit card charges. But sometimes they don't. And I think most of the times it turns on some of what the facts are. But what's important is that consumers tend to think that they have this right to have these charges reversed, that they can charge anything, go anywhere, do anything, and if it's not a legitimate charge, or if they don't get the services that they asked for and paid for, that their credit card company won't assess them for that. And that's really not true. I will say the example that I use for people: look, if you have an unauthorized charge out of Nigeria, pretty clear that they're not going to assess you for that. They'll treat it as fraudulent. You won't have to pay for it. However, if you've got a dispute with your local Costco over what was delivered or what was not delivered, you'll see them take a little bit of a closer look. And what's important to know is, what is fraud and what isn't fraud. It's not just always a very clear question. Again, out of Nigeria, probably pretty clearly fraud. Otherwise, they don't always believe the consumer that they didn't get what they ordered, or it wasn't delivered, or their services weren't as promised. All of those sorts of things. And I tell folks, there's a couple things you need to remember. It's not in your contract with your Visa card, MasterCard, with your bank, that if you merely dispute it, that they have to take it off. I can't tell you the number of people that think that they dispute it and they have to take it off. It's not in your contract that they have to do that, nor is there a law. So there's no law requiring them to do that. It's not in your agreement requiring them to do that. It's something that they offer and provide that many people rely upon, and quite frankly, some people abuse. So do not assume that just challenging some charge requires the bank to remove it. They have a right to dispute it themselves. And I will tell you that most judges are sympathetic to the bank. That is, the bank didn't do anything, and yet they're out the money. They're the ones that are supposed to eat it. So I know they get profit and they make money doing that and make a lot of money. That being said, legally, the position of the court typically is, look, at the bank doesn't bear the risk of all loss. So I tell consumers, beware. Do not assume that the risk of all losses is to be borne by the bank. Be smart, obviously. Know if you've got some fraud going on, that you alert the bank. But don't assume that all fraudulent charges are the responsibility of the bank. Good luck.